So how was Inda? Cause Inda mukut anko yangu fulani yeah? Anko yangu alisemaga inkijaka nitaikuota alafu nitainini ngamote rijela romgi ngamonegi. He who has taken you to jail is equivalent to he who has killed you. How was 3 weeks at Inda? Cause Inda ni serious. Inda si mchezo.
Arazijui nisema nini, but ilikuwa tu experience ingine yenye siezi taka tena. But the flip side ilinisaidia juu hiyo time niliacha kutumia madawa mpaka za kulala na nini hizo 3 weeks. But your place bro,
cause Inda ilikuwa straight after hizi stories za therapy
yeah, bado nilikuwa hata hiyo time nikishikwa nilikuwa na kunywa madawa bado. So
walikukujia wapi
kwa hao
Karao?
You know, I've always credited Mwafreeka for being one of the best, if not the best, interviewers in the country. And not just in the country. If you like, look at, if you like watch most podcasts on the internet, even international podcasts, you can tell that Mwafreeka is really, really good at his shit. He knows how to ask questions. He knows how to make a guest comfortable. And this was one of the most likable traits about Iko Nini, even from the start, is that the fact that Mwafreeka could make a guest so comfortable to even talk about things that they weren't comfortable talking about on other interviews, all right? But I feel like on this particular interview, on Clement Kinuthia'S, Khalif Kairo's former partner, I feel like Mwafreeka did not display those skills. As a matter of fact, I feel like Mwafreeka did not display emotional intelligence on this particular section where he was asking him about the 3 weeks that Clement spent in industrial area prison. Because you can tell the guy, he's not uncomfortable talking about it, but he got emotional talking about it. And obviously, even throughout, you don't need to be blind to tell from the onset of this interview, even on the part 1 of this interview, that this guy is going through a lot. This guy is going through shit, bana. Manze, the fact that I feel, I'm not saying it, Mwafreeka should have been at a beach or something and started handing him handkerchiefs, but at least give the guy like a break. Give him a few minutes to get that shit off your chest, bana. Unajua, cause I'm like, normally I'm not in support of men crying, but shit, there are some circumstances that men go through that you just have to allow a nigga to cry, bana. Even if you have to like shut the camera for like a few minutes, just let the guy take it all out. Because I don't know, if it was me, I'd be like, yo bro, it's okay, you just let it out. We can cut off this part where you are crying, you just let it out, and then ndio tuashe camera tena tuendelee na interview. Because this guy clearly this guy is not this guy is going through shit. I watched the whole interview, and there's actually a segment where he says he's hit rock bottom, where hata kupata 500 bob punch ni shida. And I can relate, manze. This guy used to handle millions. Unaona? Millions. You know, this guy had 300-400 million worth of business. This guy was he had 2 cars. He had a Mercedes AMG, he had a Porsche Panamera, bro. Those are rare fucking cars. Unaget? Then all of a sudden, within a twinkle of an eye, you've lost everything you due to court battles and all that stuff. Hata kupata 500 ni shida. 500 bob mse. Unaget? So I watched a Nigerian movie once when I was a kid, and I think it was Aki na Ukwa, Aki and Popo. I think it was a part 2 or part 3 of the movie where their father, no, it wasn't that. It was the same guys. It was the same guys who played Aki and Popo, Chinedu Ikedieze and Osita Iheme. It was the same guys. But the movie was a different movie. They were writers, I think. I think it was called From Grass to Grace, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and the guy who played their father on Aki and Ukwa, he was the guy who was their publisher in this movie, right? So he gives them an advice where they were like going through a writer's block. One of them was Osita Iheme, actually, on this particular role, he was going through a writer's block, and their publisher tells them, there's no worst kind of poverty than the kind of poverty where you used to be rich, you got money, then you stopped having this money and you went back to being poor. That guy told them that there's no worse poverty like that. No worse poverty like you were poor, got money, then all of a sudden stopped getting this money and went back to poor. That's like the worst form of poverty. Unaona? Because unajua nini, okay, I don't know if I agree with him. But yeah, I guess it makes some sense. It could make some sense, because unajua mjamaa kama huyu, I'm assuming maybe his entire life he's been rich. I guess I'm assuming, but he doesn't look like a guy who's from like a wealthy background. But let's use hypothetically a person who's always been rich their life. Patonim said they've always been rich their life, all of a sudden they become poor. Unajua, these are uncharted territories, but all their lives they've been rich, so they know these are uncharted territories. They know they might get back to being rich. As compared to when you are poor, you know how hard it is to be rich when you're fucking poor, bro. You know how fucking hard it is. So when you get money and all of a sudden you fucking lose it, you're like, yeah, I've been here before, and the climb to the top wasn't easy. Yani, is it going to take that long as I did to get back to the top, to get back again? Am I even going to manage it again? I know it's true. I can relate, man. I can relate, bana. You know, I can relate. Yo, so yeah, so I feel like, back to Mwafreeka, I feel Mwafreeka did not display emotional intelligence on this. I believe Mwafreeka would argue and say, I tried to change, when I saw him get emotional, I tried to ask him more questions, try to get him out of that. But you see, when you're trying to get someone out of that emotional state, you ask like different questions. But you see, Mwafreeka didn't ask different questions. He stayed on the same train of questions, which is arguably understandable, because you need to get to the bottom of this. But then again, Mwafreeka used to be like the best interviewer. Mwafreeka is so good that most of the time he akiona like you don't want to answer a question, ama a question is taking like the wrong turn, he'll change the subject kidogo and then he'll navigate back to that question. Like, that's how good this motherfucker is. As to why in this particular instance he did not display that intelligence, I fucking don't know. Like, yo, Mwafreeka, what the fuck? What the fuck was that, bana? You know, so I honestly did not understand that. I think you can tell, as in, you don't need to be ntasemaje. Yo, the fact that this nigga hasn't committed suicide is a miracle by itself. You can tell. I haven't been through what he has been through. I am not in his mind to tell, but his demeanor, honestly, you can tell this guy is going through shit. Unaona? And the fact that he's comfortable sharing this, I think it's more of like therapy for him. Unaona? Even what hurts the most is that he invested so much in Khalif Cairo, allegedly, because unajua there are always two sides of a story. There's Khalif Cairo's side, there's this guy's side, but you can see this guy's story is more believable because this guy was not attacking Khalif Cairo all the way. He gave Khalif Cairo his credit. He said Khalif Cairo has brains, has a passion for cars. He helped them get You know, he did not knock down his participation in as much as he was the one giving out the money. And ile mbaya ni, if this guy should bounce back, I pray to God that he bounces back. If he should ever get back to business, umse hata isaidia mse mwingine tena mse, cause kuna wase wazuri out here, and then kuna wase mafala, wase unappreciative bana. Nani, Khalif Cairo is like a gold digger bana. Can you imagine? Khalif Cairo is like okay, my Okot is not a gold digger. Let's say Khalif Cairo is like this Gen Z women. You take a woman from the streets, you clean her up, you put her in a position where she can make money, you stick by her during her difficult times, then one day she decides to leave you. Unaona? I know most women have done that in the past, but no other generation is unappreciative as no other generation of women is unappreciative as this generation. Unajua, that other generation of women, even if they were going to leave you at some point in your life, I think they would do things, they would be there for you or stand by you in a way that even if they left, you wouldn't feel like I wasted my life and my time on this woman. Unaona, they stick by you, they'd help you. Nini kama ni biashara, they'd help you bring up your business. As in, these were intelligent women. Most of the times, if these women left you, it was because of you, not because of them. Unaget, but hii generation siku hizi ya wanawake. So we can put Khalif Cairo Wamboi in that generation, and it doesn't help that his name is Wamboi, neither does it help that he has a forehead just like most Kenyan women. Unaona? Yeah, so but back to nani Mwafreeka. I feel Mwafreeka failed terribly on this bana. This guy, you can tell umse akona mawazo. This guy is definitely going through depression, manze. And, you know, he even mentioned that for a whole year, he went for therapy, that he used to be taking drugs. Yo, bro, people are going through it out here. And imagine this is all because of someone you helped. What? Yo, apana. Mse, huh? And at some point they were good. I mean, where the fuck did the nini start beating? Did the rain start beating them? Unaona? Yani unaweza saidia mtu alafu mtu akuja kufuck up kabisa, yani akuja kumess up entirely. And this is someone who calls themselves, people who call themselves Christians are the biggest hypocrites there is. And bro, I'm not even lying. I mean, I'm a Christian myself. I've been in a position where drunkards have helped me, whereas Christians have made me feel so fucking uncomfortable that I don't even go to church physically. That's how bad it is. You know, you do know the reason why? Because these people, they think that they are so holier than thou, that they are better than others, you know. And you wouldn't blame even Gen Zs for doubting that God exists. Unaona? You wouldn't blame them because of the shit, because of the bullshit that they see. So yeah, so not Khalif Cairo, Mwafreeka, I feel that you failed big time on this interview. No, not the entire interview, but on some particular sections, especially this section, I feel like you did not display emotional intelligence and tell that you're taking this person through a very, very deep nini. This is a man, men rarely cry, and this is a man who has declared on this interview multiple times that he's on I think it's antidepressants, I think, and he's been to therapy. So you can clearly tell that this is someone who's going through it. You should have given the guy some time to let it all out, you know, before you continue that line of questioning, because this guy, man, Mr. Clement Kinuthia'S, man, I wish you all the best, manze. Because the guy did mention that bado they're still kwa hizo court cases, they're still on the court cases. Hopefully he manages to pay off all his debts. You can imagine maybe all the cars he sold, probably all the properties he sold, but yeah, I guess this is a lesson, never to trust anybody, especially people you don't know. Don't trust people too much, bana. Never trust people too much, and even if you get to partnerships with people, you need to like put in clear clear um nini. But before hata we get to that line of reasoning, I also feel to some extent these guys' woes are also on him, because this guy did mention he's going through similar scenarios as what Khalif Cairo is going through. But if you understand how the car industry works, or if you get an edge case should always be like a blueprint to tell you the possibilities that the possible outcomes in every scenario. Una get? So if you promise a client a car, it delays for one reason or the other, and then you manage to refund this client their money, you manage to settle the situation, then you should have the know-how, the knowledge to know, this shit can happen sometime. You know? If you've watched the series Jack Reacher likes to say, in an investigation, assumptions kills. So does in a business. In a business, assumptions kill, and you cannot ignore you cannot ignore assumptions. Una get? So if something has happened before, the possibility of it happening again is high. So you put in measures and mechanisms on how to handle it better if this should happen next time. So from that blueprint, from that edge case, from the initial edge case where there was a delay in a client getting their car, they should have put in mechanisms. In the event this should happen again, they should have put in mechanisms on how to know how to handle it. Because at the end of the day, as much as Pia Khalif Cairo alichangia, the fact that he didn't prepare beforehand led him to all of this. So as much as Pia we blame Cairo, Pia he's also to blame, unaona. But yeah, we wish him all the best, and Mr. Mwafreeka bana, next time do better. You're better than this. Mwafreeka is a good interviewer, but on this bit he failed.